Good day everyone, my name is Jonathan A. Balmas and my report is meaning of social, then interaction and socialization. Meaning of social relating to society or its organization. Alcoholism is recognized as a major social problem relating to rank and status in society. A recent analysis of social class in Britain needing companionship and therefore best suited to living in communities. We are social beings as well as individuals, relating to or designed for activities in which people meet each other for pleasure, lead a full social life. Social organisms, including human, live collectively in interacting population. This interaction is considered social whether they are aware of it or not and whether the exchange is voluntary or involuntary. Is important for at least two reasons. First, it is the process by which people learn the culture of their society. Second, it is the process by which they become fully human in terms of behavior, emotion, and cognitive ability. The unfortunate example of feral children reinforce the importance of socialization in this respect. Socialization not only teaches us how to interact with one another, but it also helps us develop a sense of self. In fact, sociologists believe that even something as person as our identity and sense of self comes from others. What is the difference between social interaction to socialization? Socialization is not the same as socializing. Socializing is to mix socially with others. Family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, whereas socialization is a process that may include socializing as one element but is more complex, multifaceted, and formative set of interactive experiences.
Good day, my name is Jackie Corpus Lozano from BEd 2. My topic is levels of social interaction. What is social interaction? Social interactions include a large number of behaviors, so many that in sociology, interaction is usually divided into 5 categories. Ang social interaction, ito yung pakikipag-ugnayan sa lipunan o sa ibang tao kung paano mo ito pakikitunguhan sa pamamagitan ng pakikipag-usap at pakikisalamuha sa iyong kapwa. Ang social interaction ay nahahati ito sa 5 kategorya. Una ay ang exchange o pagpapalitan, halimbawa ng pagpapalitan ng ideya o opinyon ng bawat tao. Pangalawa ay ang kompetisyon o pakikipagkompetisyon sa iyong kalaban. Dapat mahinahon pa rin ang iyong sarili upang maiwasan ang pakikipag-away sa iyong kakompetensya. Pangatlo ay ang cooperation o pakikipagtulungan. Halimbawa na lamang sa barangay, kailangan nating makipagtulungan sa lahat ng gawain upang mapanatiling maganda at malinis ang ating barangay. Pang-apat ay ang conflict o tunggalian. Ito ay isang pag-away o di pagkaunawaan ng bawat tao. At ang panghuli ay ang coercion o pamimili, na ang ibig sabihin nito ay isang pagpilit sa isang tao na gawin ang bagay na hindi nila karaniwang ginagawa sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng banta laban sa kanilang kaligtasan o kapakanan o sa kanilang mga kamag-anak. Halimbawa ang pagtutok ng baril sa ulo ng isang tao o paghawak ng kutsilyo sa lalamunan ng isang tao ay isang aktwal na pisikal na banta sa kanila.
Good afternoon everyone, especially good afternoon Ma'am Carla Joy A. Torre. My name is Crisbel Mijares from BEd 2.
You noticed everything and took everything in. How do you think you learned to crawl? Learn to walk. Learn to eat. Well, a Russian theorist popular in the early 1900s said that this social interaction between you and your parents resulted in you learning all of these things. Welcome to Lev Vygotskys' social interaction theory. The basis of his theory is that a developing child needs social interaction to develop things like reasoning, memory, attention, and language. Take answering a phone, for example. When the phone rings, you exhibit many cognitive functions you learn because of social interaction with a parent or other adult. Perception, hearing the ringtone. Decision-making, will I answer it or not? Motor skills, lifting the receiver to my ear. Language skills, talking and understanding language. Social skills, interpreting tone of voice and interacting properly with another human being. All of this you learn by simply watching your parent answer the phone. Vygotskys' theory says that there is a process with social interaction. First, seeing, you see an adult doing an activity. Then, jointly doing, you do that activity together. Then, independently doing, you have gained enough skill to do that activity by yourself. Now back to our phone example. You most likely watched your parents answer the phone many times. Then you discussed together how to answer a phone. Then you yourself could answer the phone without help. Vygotsky proposed a way by which the responsibility for psychological functioning is gradually transferred from the adult to the child. Adults structure activities so that the child's role is within the child's zone of proximal development, or ZPD. The ZPD is the difference between what a learner can do without help and what the learner can do with help. The darkest inner circle is what learners can do without help from an adult. The outermost circle is what learners cannot do. The middle circle between those two is the zone of proximal development, where learners can do things with guidance from an adult. The child's performance is at a higher level with adult guidance. Eventually, through participating with an adult, the child becomes more capable of carrying out similar activities on their own because this joint problem solving has been internalized by the child. Let's take a closer look inside the zone of proximal development. Vygotsky originally introduced his notion of the ZPD as a means of assessing children's potential for learning as an alternative to the static measures of IQ and mental age. When inside the ZPD, an adult and child may, in many cases, not have the same definition of a situation at first. For instance, A child may view a set of blocks as objects to be thrown or used for anything he or she likes. Whereas an adult may view them as building materials. The adult and child must come to some agreement on how to define the situation before they can achieve an end goal. In the ZPD, adults use a scaffolding technique to help a child complete an activity. Note that Vygotskys never explicitly used this word. Now, first, let me remind you what scaffolding is to a building. Scaffolding is a temporary structure used to support the work crew and materials around a building during construction. When the building is complete, the scaffolding is taken down. Like scaffolding aids a building, the adult aids the child. The adult supports the child when they are struggling, then steps back when the child is doing well. Do you think you've ever been in the ZPD? Most likely you're saying yes, but if not, here are some examples that you may have experienced. Learning how to dance. When you are learning how to dance, you look to other people around you on the dance floor and imitate their moves. You do not copy the dance moves exactly, but take what you can and add your own personality to it. Learning to drive. Parents and driving instructors guide you along the way by showing you the mechanics of how the car operates, the correct hand positions on the steering wheel, and the technique of scanning the roadway. As you progress, less and less instruction is needed until you are driving on your own. Educators. Vygotskys wants you to assign tasks that your students cannot do on their own, but can do with assistance. This will help them be in the ZPD. You should provide just enough assistance so that your students learn to complete tasks independently, and provide an environment that enables students to do challenging tasks with less and less guidance.
Good day everyone, I'm Vivian Nikki Tornate from BE Ed 2, and my topic is all about types of interaction. Types of interaction. Cooperation is the process in which people work together to achieve shared goals. It's a social process that gets things done. No group can complete its task or achieve its goals without cooperation from its members. Competition is a process by which two or more people attempt to achieve a goal that only one can attain. Is a common feature of Western societies and the cornerstones of the capitalist economic system and the democratic form of government. Competition can have both beneficial and detrimental effects. Positively, competition, if it follows rules of conduct, may serve as a form of recreation, or it helps to motivate people to perform the roles society asks of them. On the negative side, competition can cause injury, psychological stress, inequality, lack of cooperation, and even conflict. Conflict. The struggle for agency or power within a society. It occurs when two or more people oppose one another in social interactions, reciprocally exerting social power in an effort to attain scarce or incompatible goals and prevent the opponent from attaining them. Conflict theory emphasizes interest deployed in conflict, rather than the norms and values. These perspectives argues that the pursuit of interest is what motivates conflict. Resources are scarce and individuals naturally fight to gain control of them. Thus, the theory sees conflict as a normal part of social life, rather than an abnormal occurrence. The three tenets of conflict theory are as follows. 1. Society is composed of different groups that compete for resources. 2. While societies may portray a sense of cooperation, a continual power struggle exists between social groups as they pursue their own interests. 3. Social groups will use resources for their own advantage in the pursuit of their goals, frequently leading powerful groups to take advantage of less powerful groups. According to the principles of conflict theory, all cooperation is only for the purpose of acquiring individual or group's resources. This motivation for behavior and structures day-to-day interactions among people in a given society. Accommodation, a form of social interaction in which we get used to the factors that are likely to lead to conflict, either by force of habit, or sheer inertia, or a desire to live and let live. It simply means adjusting oneself to the new environment. Assimilation, the process by which individual or groups of differing ethnic heritage are absorbed into the dominant culture of a society.
I am James Alvin Santos, one of the reporters for this video, and my assigned topic is all about meaning and types of social groups. What is social groups? According to Meyer Nimkov, social group is a group of two or more persons who are in state of interaction with one another. And according to William Ogburn, social group is when two or more individuals come together and influence one another. Example, a family living in a home, group of employees working in the same organization, group of classmates, a group of members of meeting, and etc. And now proceed to the types of social groups. A. On the basis of contact. On the basis of contact, there are two groups, the primary groups and secondary group. Primary group is a group have a great importance. For instance, the family provides food, shelter, and care to a kid. An individual learns his culture and develops a healthy personality within his group. Unlike first groups, secondary groups are large groups whose relationships are impersonal and goal-oriented. People in secondary group are interact on a less personal level than in primary group, and the relationships are generally temporary rather than long-lasting. Secondary groups have following characteristics. The group is formed by relations secondary to the primary group. There is a comparatively less face-to-face interaction. There is a comparatively less frequent interaction. The relations among the members are impersonal and secondary. These relations are relatively less personal, less intermediate, and less intense. Example A. A shopkeeper-customer relations, a doctor-patient relations, an advocate-client relations, teacher-student relations, a candidate-voter relations, and etc. B. On the basis of identification. On the basis of identification, there are two groups, in-group and out-group. In-group, a group to which we directly belong, is called our in-group. It can be our own family, occupation, games, or interest group. Example, if I am player of a cricket team, my cricket team is an in-group for me. A religious is a group for its followers. A geographical community is in group for its residents. Next is out-group, a group to which we do not belong. It's called an out-group. It can be any group for others, including a family, tribe, ethnicity, sex, occupation, or interest groups. Example, if I am students of psychology, the students of psychology are in group for me, but the students of any other discipline other than psychology are an out-group for me. On the basis of rules and regulation. On the basis of rules and regulation, there are two groups, formal group and informal group. Formal group. It is a group that has well-defined rules and regulations for joining group, staying in a group, and living in a group. Those who fulfill the rules and regulations can join and engage in the activities of the group. The membership can be cancelled if the member violates the rules. Example, organizations, banks, hospital, educational institutions, officials, associations, and firms, and so on. Informal group. It is a group which has prescribed rules and regulations for joining a group, staying the group, and leaving the group. Any person can join the group, participate it, and leave it whenever he wants. Example, a group of the students sitting in the playground and gossiping with one another. Any classmate can come and join it. People gathered to see a joker in a public place, informal clubs, and associations. On the basis of structures, Socialization has divided social groups on the basis of structures into three types. First, involuntary group. It is a group that an individual cannot join or leave by his own choice. Example, a family is an involuntary group because an individual has no control over his birth, to be born or not born in a specific family. Voluntary group. It is a group that an individual can join or leave by his own choice. Example, you can join people watching a game in the playground. You can become a student college and you can join organization and so on. Delegate group. It is a group that serves a representative of the larger number of people. The members are either elected by the people, nominated on the basis of certain criteria. A parliament is a delegate group, and it represents wishes and leads the public. Similarly, a group experts sent to another country to discuss an issue on behalf of their country is delegate group. On the basis of relations to society. George Sassens has divided social groups on the basis of its relations to society into the following. First, a social group. It is a group that remains detached within the society. They do not participate in the society and it remains alone. Example, introverts, people with adjustments, problems, or psychological anomalies, drug addicts, criminals, thieves, and murderers. Next is antisocial groups. It is a groups that acts against the interests of society. They destroy public property and peace. They intend to spread fear and aggression to pursue their aims.
Hi everyone, my topic is individual and group. What is an individual and groups? An individual generally makes a proof discussion while a group is dominated by various people. Making discussion, making every time consuming, moreover assembling. Group members consume a lot of time. Individuals do not escape responsibility. They are accountable for their act performance. What is the relationship between individual and groups? And the last one of my topic is behavior. Behavior is the range of action and mannerism made by organism, system or artificial entities in conjunction with the environment, which includes the other system or organism around as well as the physical environment. Example of behavior. The definition of behavior is the way of a person or things acts or reacts. A giant throwing a tantrum is an example of bad behaviors. The action of chimps studied by scientists are example of behavior.
Good day everyone, my name is Joy Ibalejos from BEd2. My report is all about the roles of schools, teachers in developing social interaction for peace, harmony, and tolerance. Teachers can play a role in bringing social harmony by enabling students to accept different viewpoints and people and encouraging them to ask questions of utmost importance to society. Teachers and students can be trained on how to uphold diversity of opinion in the classrooms without touching upon the sensibilities of each other. A teacher's prime responsibility is to help students become good human beings, motivated to fulfill their potential not only for their own benefit but also for the betterment of the society as a whole. Teachers primarily review students' progress throughout each month and also work with mentors, administrators, and families to create a supportive learning environment. position may be fulfilled from home. Making your classroom comfortable and accepting as a physical space can help students who are struggling in their personal lives, especially students who have become victims of bullying.